My relationship with the present moment is a bit tricky. I'd say I do get distracted in my daydreams a lot. They do interfere with me going about my everyday present life. I think one thing I've learned, it's important to have a present life and one that I have in my head, and keep it separate. Obviously there can be crossover themes, but having an actual life, like a present life, is important. It's more grounding that way.
The pressure of presence. I think in some shape or form, everybody feels a struggle to remain present. And I think this is the case for people who struggle with maladaptive daydreaming. Do you know what maladaptive daydreaming is?
I've heard the term, but no.
Absolutely not.
No, I don't think I've heard of that.
I do.
I don't.
I do. God, what does that say about me?
What does that say about me? What is it?
So maladaptive daydreaming is a dissociative condition where one will excessively daydream, and this could be for hours on end. Many people have associated it with OCD and ADHD because there are overlaps. So me and Kezia went acting school together, and we spoke about how we both maladaptive daydreamed. It was from here that we was able to be on the same page and talk about an experience that can feel quite isolating. Can you remember the moment you found out that MD was not a singular experience, but a real condition with a name?
Yeah, so it was one time I was going on the internet to search up daydreaming because I found myself doing it a lot, and I must have just typed in some of the symptoms that I was having and it came up with maladaptive daydreaming. So I just searched into that and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy or anything. This is an actual thing. I'd say music is a big impact for me. I find myself putting on different songs to invoke a daydream, let's just say, a perfect song for a perfect mood of daydream, perfect emotion. If I'm watching TV and it has a song in it and I'm like, oh, I could use this one, so I'll look the song up and put it in my playlist, and in a later daydream I'll use it to fit the mood. Just say it was a movie and there's a backing track. Yeah. So I used to daydream a lot as a kid because I just had a wild imagination as it is, but I found myself using it as a safe space to get away from everyday life. Just say something's going on in my life. I was homeschooled, so I didn't have a lot of spaces that I could go into, so I found in my head I had control over it, and yeah.
When you daydream about yourself, would you say you daydream about yourself realistically, or would you say that there's a different version of you that you daydream?
I feel like it's more realistically, but if there's any, if it's a different version of myself, it's more something that I'm maybe trying to be more of. Let's just say more confident or more quiet. How would that look like?
My name is Amy Lucas and I'm a clinical psychologist. Well, my interest in psychology started when I was very young. I really struggled with my own mental health when I was a child and then right through my adolescence. And within that, I was also struggling with maladaptive daydreaming, but I didn't know then what that was. All I knew was that I really spent a lot of time in a fantasy world and that this world felt very secret and very precious, and I struggled not to escape there. And I would say by that time I wasn't really struggling with MD. For me, it was very much a childhood and adolescent experience, and I really would say that I recovered from that experience in my very early 20s. So I was very lucky that it didn't affect my life too much beyond that sort of early adult stage. And when I was doing my doctorate, I realised I can explore this more from a professional angle and help other people who are still really struggling with it.
Yeah, that's really good, because I guess you can also show other people that you can recover from that
Yes, absolutely.
What do you find yourself daydreaming about?
I feel like more everyday life. So experiences that I've had or might have soon, say future plans. Parties, a new event I'm going to, something I'm trying out. Things that feel real, like it doesn't make my brain like come out of it and be like, no, this would never happen. When it's more realistic, I can like immerse myself in it and I'd be like, yeah, this could happen to me.
I think that one of the issues with MD at the moment is there isn't a lot of awareness and there isn't a lot of understanding about it, and that's both in the professional field, but then it's also for people that are struggling with it. Shame just thrives when it's in hiding, when we feel vulnerable, or we feel like we're going to be judged or perceived maybe to be crazy, or we perhaps internalize some of that sort of self-stigma and we think there's something wrong with me because of the content of my fantasies, or because I can't stop doing this, you know, what does that say about me? What's wrong with me? I think that a lot of shame breeds there, and people are afraid maybe of what it means that they struggle with this or how other people will perceive it.
I think it's kind of hard. I don't really have a problem with sharing, but where the understanding meets like the sharing, there's a disconnect because a lot of people don't know what it is, or there's not enough information out there about it. So yeah, it's just there's a slight disconnect, which probably puts people off sharing more.
If you had to say one thing to your younger self who was experiencing maladaptive daydreaming, perhaps for the first time and sort of unaware that it was something that other people have, what would you say to her?
I'd tell her to not let it get in the way of actually living, because I did find myself choosing to daydream over going out and actually living my life. So I'd hope that she'd have more focus on actually being present than indulging in daydreams.